This episode of Techno Buffalo is brought to you by GoDaddy. Welcome back to another edition of Ask the Buffalo. I'm your host, John Rettinger, and you can ask me anything you want from the wide world of technology. Today, we're going to talk about cell phones, tablets, 3D technology, and everything in between. Let's go ahead and get started. So here on Ask the Buffalo, it's the best farm animal themed technology show where you can ask anything that you want from the world of technology. To ask your questions, you can do it in two ways. First, you can go ahead and send me a question on Twitter, either at John4Lakers or at TechnoBuffalo, and use the hashtag AskTheBee and ask whatever question you want. Otherwise, once a week on TechnoBuffalo.com, we post up an article asking folks to leave your questions and comments. So if you have something you want to ask me and you want to see it broadcast on the wide Revision 3 channels, you go ahead and check out TechnoBuffalo.com or just say hi to me on Twitter. You know, no big deal. So let's go ahead and jump right into our first question, which comes from user BenRang888, lots of eights, who asks, John, is your tablet of choice the iPad 2? If not, what is your tablet of choice? Well, a few months ago, if someone were to ask me what tablet I recommended, it would have unanimously been the iPad 2. I was grossly underwhelmed with the Android offerings that were out there. However, that was before the Asus Transformer and this guy behind me, the Samsung Galaxy Tab 10.1. The Transformer and the Tab 10.1 are both awesome in performance, awesome in specs. However, the Tab 10.1 behind me is extremely thin, thinner than the Asus Transformer. So if you're looking for a new tablet, I can wholeheartedly recommend the Galaxy Tab 10.1 or the iPad 2 as the two best tablets out there. The screens are beautiful, they are beefed up processor-wise, they're going to do everything that you need them to do. Alright, so our next question goes to the world of BlackBerry from Jordan Canning 17, who asked, John, do you think the BlackBerry Bold 9900 is worth the money, or should I wait and get an iPhone? Presumably he means wait to get an iPhone 5 or iPhone 4S, whatever they decide to call it. So the Bold 9900 or the 9930 in the CDMA world is essentially just the Bold Touch. It's the form factor that everybody has been waiting for. It looks like a typical Bold, but a much thinner with a touchscreen. It's got some NFC technology, it's got a modern processor, modern specs, and it looks to be pretty nice. I am a big BlackBerry fan, and actually out of all the phones coming out in the next few months, that is the one I am most looking forward to. However, if you want to compare it to a phone that hasn't been announced yet or hasn't been released yet, I don't know. It's a very subjective question. If you're like me and you like having a full QWERTY keyboard, then the BlackBerry is going to be a great way to go. If you want a bigger screen to browse movies or to watch movies, watch TV shows, have a better downloading experience from the iTunes Store, then the iPhone is going to be a great way to go. It really comes down to personal choice. The next question comes from Salmonator, who asked, John, do you reckon that we'll see 3D tablets in the near future? I've actually been watching a lot, this is a random thing, watching a lot of Friday Night Lights on Netflix with my wife, so if I start talking with a southern accent, you will know why. There actually are 3D tablets already on the market. Need I remind you of the T-Mobile G Slate. This is the LG built G Slate, which is indeed 3D, although you need those funky red and blue glasses to make it work. I think you're probably referring to stereoscopic 3D like we have with the LG Thrill or the Evo 3D. I think certainly that those are coming and probably coming very soon. I think a new type of glasses-free technology that we might see is actually one that uses the front-facing camera found on most modern tablets. The screens are exactly as they are right now, where they can be any type of screen, and actually senses where your head is, and it can adjust the images depending on where you move it. That's my moving of the head thing. So I think we're going to see 3D tablets very, very, very soon. This next question is more on the personal side and comes from Trinity Brown, who asked, John, what was your first computer and how'd you get so interested in tech? My first computer that I ever had in my room when I was just a little guy, about this big, was an old Apple IIc. I remember playing Lemonade Stand and Jungle Hunt on that thing. I have always been a computer guy. I've always been into tech ever since I was just a wee one. My first computer that really got me into the tech reviewing was actually my very first MacBook Pro. Actually, I made my first YouTube video ever unboxing that MacBook Pro, and that launched my whole second career, which is what I do now, talking about technology to you. Hopefully that helps answer your questions. So our next question is about the T-Mobile MyTouch 4G, and it's from Cal ES Wag, who asked, hey John, What are your thoughts on the upcoming T-Mobile MyTouch 4G slide? Besides the camera, what does it have that any dramatic advantages over the Sensation? Thanks in advance. So I think he's asking, does it have any dramatic advantages over the T-Mobile Sensation? Well, coincidentally, right behind me, I happen to have the MyTouch 4G slide, and it's got that dual-core processor and all that business you'd expect from a modern smartphone, but it does have a few advantages. First, it's got that genius button for all kinds of voice-activated goodness, and the other advantage is, boom, slide-out keyboard, and a very, very thin form factor, and an extremely impressive camera. In fact, our own Mike Perlman did a comparison of the camera on the MyTouch 4G slide versus a dedicated point-and-shoot camera from Sony. So be sure to check that out. Hopefully that answers your question. I'd like to take a minute to thank our friends and sponsors at GoDaddy, which keep everything running here at Techno Buffalo. With GoDaddy, you can get reliable, secure web hosting without the long-term contract. GoDaddy's hosting plans are bigger and better than ever with 99.99% uptime and free 24/7 support and no annual commitment. So no contract required, that's always good. And remember, you can download GoDaddy's free iPhone, Android, or BlackBerry app to order right from your phone or manage your current domains and more. So if you want to show your support for the show, you can go ahead and put in code Buffalo1. That's Buffalo, the number 1, and you will get 10% off your total order. You can check out revision3.com/GoDaddy for a list of all the amazing GoDaddy deals from Revision 3. But to show your support for the show, use the code Buffalo1. We appreciate it. So our next question is a bit on the personal side and advice for aspiring tech reviewers from reader Drew Howard, who asks, I have watched your YouTube channel for months and you've inspired me. I would like to become a tech reviewer and I'd like some pointers to how to start off. What's the most important task or tasks that you have to do as a tech reviewer / blogger? I created a whole series. You can check it out on Techno Buffalo. It's advice for aspiring tech reviewers. But the best advice that I can give to anyone is find your own voice. Don't try and emulate my style or anybody else's style out there. Find your own sense of who you are and show some personality. Don't be afraid to make a little bit of a fool of yourself. Have some fun with what you're doing. Don't just say, here's the T-Mobile MyTouch 4G. It has 1.2 gigahertz Qualcomm Snapdragon processor. It can record 1080p video. It has a genius button. Make sure you show a bit of personality. You can talk about it. You can tell some anecdotes about your life in there. You don't have to go out and buy all the stuff. You don't have to be rich to be a tech reviewer. You can talk about things that have just been announced, what your thoughts are. Make sure you say, I've never seen the iPhone 5 yet, but if it has what the rumors say, it could be nice. And that would be the best advice that I can give. And for more in-depth, be sure to check out that Ask the Buffalo series and the advice for aspiring tech reviewers in the past on technobuffalo.com. So thank you for watching another edition of Ask the Buffalo. Be sure to check out technobuffalo.com for your daily dose of technology. I am your host, John Rettinger, and be sure to get your questions in. We are here every Monday answering your tech queries. So for now, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. So that was another edition of Ask the Buffalo. I am the Buffalo. That was awful. I am the Buffalo John Rettinger.